All right, welcome back to the JavaScript to-do app course. And today we're going to be starting day 3. And let's just do a quick update here. So we're going to do day 3. This will be our last day um, for this week. The other videos, we had several parts in this video. So next week we'll be starting kind of on the final, adding just additional features, maybe talking a little bit about a little bit of a UI update, and then talking about, finalizing the project. So um, we're getting very close, and if you've been watching, thank you. I plan to do another video on this, basically taking the concept of this app and then doing it in a framework, perhaps like Svelte. I've wanted to learn how to do Svelte. I had some experience with React, but I thought Svelte sounded cool. I liked the um, concept of it, I guess. So I'll probably do one on that next, and then I want to do one on a game. But of course, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself as right now I just need to focus on what's in front of me. So what that is that we're looking at day 3. Go ahead and close day 2 stuff. Got our day 3 stuff here. Still in week 5. Items for day 3. Um, day 3, and this is going to be refactor, toggle, all is right. Now, let's take a look at our to-do list here. We did all of our editing. So for today, for day 3, what we want to do is first, we're going to move the DOM selectors to the view object. So this is really taking our separation of concerns a bit further. The idea is that if HTML changes, view needs to be up and not forward. All right. So, and then the next thing is we want to add a toggle all to do's. Checklist, checkbox, not really toggle all. It's going to be check all to do's or uncheck all to do's. Checkbox, and we'll focus on that part. Maybe that will be a part 2, or that might be a do 4. We'll see how far we go with this. So do a quick code review. We've got our object. Now let's take a look at our view. Right now, we've got one of our items here in this to-do list element. So we kind of understand the concept. But here we can see we're doing a query selector here. That doesn't really make any sense. We already have to-do list element. up here, see if it's the same. To-do list, to-do list. So inside of the view, we already have this. So as first proof of concept, this should be pretty easy. We have a init, we can say this view do list element equals this dot view dot to do list element. And then I guess this is should be pretty straightforward. Just let's make sure that that works, doesn't break anything in our code. We're going to add a remove query selectors view. We're going to hit add to do. It's here. We're going to check this. We're going to say clear complete to dos. That's still working. We're going to delete. That's still working. Clear to dos is still working. So we're going to move query selectors to view. And that's still working. So let's, oh, of course that's working. We need to look at day 3. So I'll do a quick test here. We can clear complete to-dos. We can, again, okay. To do edit update title is not a function. How we fix this? Test. Test. I wonder why that's happening. Oh, so there's like this is very frustrating. It's like sometimes it's working. If we refresh, test, 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 it's not working. Test, had to do, test, 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 enter. Test, had to do, test. So somehow when it re-renders, it's losing the prototypal chain. Why is it happening? All right, we gotta look this up. So, when the view re-renders, the prototypal chain is lost. Now I got it. Right. While JavaScript's program change itself directly as a loss during a view render, objects you're working with might be recreated, and that's where the potential for issue arises. Let's break it down. But every object has a prototype. So maybe this is on the retrieve. Is that what's going on? Must be an issue with the retrieve. Yes, okay, so that's what's happening. Let's write this down so we don't forget. When to-dos are recreated, they aren't generated as new to-do items, so they lose their prototype method. So we need to parse the saved data. We need to use the saved data. Function. Okay. All right, so I was thinking we could just do a function right there. So that's not how it works. Um, so we're gonna get, basically, let's do it. If save data, then you're gonna want to parse the save data and let's say this would be temp array, temp data, lack of a better term. We need to use temp data. So for each to do, I'll use the for each JavaScript. All right, so for each, so array for each. All right, that's what I was kind of thinking. So we need to do temp data for each to do, then what we call value. Callback. Give an example. Function current value index array. So to do index. Number. Okay, so we just put the function in there. All right, so for each, the function to do index, right? And we want to, we need a let's new to do's, new to do array. Then we need to new to do array. We've got the parsed data. So it's an object. So how do we add to do's? We need to add it to do. Else this to do's equals this. All right, so what I'm thinking is all we need to do is for each of these things, we're going to run add to do. and it should have title and complete. When we add it to do, new to do item, we need to make the parameter optional. Make the parameter optional in JavaScript. I think we just assign it a default. Yeah, assign a default value. Okay, so lots of different options here. So I think all we have to do is say complete equals false. And then we just put complete here. That's our default. And then when we add a to do, when we do a new to do item, down here, should be able to say this dot add to do. We want to say that's the temp data index dot title and the temp data index dot complete. Probably should be is complete. True or false? I think that's probably change complete and complete. Well, that's more standard, but anyway, this add to do, and then we pass it in, and then we're going to do that for each of the to dos. I think we need this. We just put to do title. do. Don't need indents. Um, each. All right. We want to add a to do for our retrieve to do. So let's see if we got this working here. We need to move queries to the added to do. Oh, it's not working. Probably because we're inside of this for each. That's the problem. So we need to say, all right, this add to do needs to be our add to do function. Okay, so let's do const add to do equals this dot add to do. I wonder if that, okay, so then we just put add to do. Right. Okay, so the add to do worked, but do to do. All right, let's see. Let's look at our code again. What's happening? So for each one of these, we want to do add to do. We're sending it to do title and to do in our add to do. Where did we add that? Like, is that in retrieve data? Where did we add that? Where did we add that default? Let's do that. Just go away. Put that in the prototype. That was in the prototype. Okay, so now with add to-dos, we kind of need to do the same thing, I think. We need to have a to-do. Let's console.log. Console.log. Test. All right, my brain is being bent up and flipped around. So here's the things. We've got our to-dos. This is our array. Got our add to do. What is this? What are we doing with this? New item to do. And when we add it to do, what are we actually adding? To do item title. It should just be a string, right? We add it to do, we're turning it into an object, and we're pushing new to do item on there. So we're getting to do. Get our saved data. Get item to do data. We're creating a new to do array. We don't need to create a new to do array. All we need to do is for every one of these, we're trying to add the to do, and we're doing do title. Let's do this up here. Just try that. To do is test. Do is test. So do dir. Where are we checking that? We're checking that in here. So we've got a to do. We need to console log the to do item. Console.where new to do item. I'm going to say new to do item. The new to do item is nothing. New to do item, to do. Get to do. New to do item. I don't get it. Why aren't we able to do new to do item? New item. Created. What is the error? Cannot read properties of undefined. New do item. Test. New to do item. Test. 2. Okay. So is it the to-dos? Console.log do's. Why are the to-dos undefined? The to-dos right here. Sweetie, what's up?
What are you doing?